Alright, this is Billy, and this is something I haven't done before. I've been seeing and reading a lot about the drought and how serious it is, but it's not just a drought, it's a crisis. And I'm starting to speak to people and learn a bit of information about how bad it is all around Australia, but also in parts around the Goulburn Valley. And I've been lucky enough to run into this bloke, Chris Brooks, who is one of the figureheads in a class action against the Murray-Darling Basin Authority for the way that they have managed the water situation. It has gotten so bad that Chris has taken the lead, and what he is doing is really raising awareness about how bad the water situation is. So you can't touch this water?
No.
All this water here that we're looking at right now, so we'll get out of the car and have a look. Flowing like that. All around. You got 10,000 megs of water a day.
Yep. Going past my farm and past everyone else's farm.
Yeah.
And there's probably more than this, closer to 15,000 megs a day running into the ocean out of our storage.
So this is 10,000?
10,000 megs.
Right, and 15,000?
Well, there's some coming out of the Goulburn River, out of your river. You're not missing out.
But I'm just trying to get my head around the fact that you have water allocations, and here it is,
Yep.
and you can't even have a drop.
Not even from a stock.
There's the water. Now have a look at some of the crops right on the riverbank. Are they dead? They're dead crops. And they're right next to this huge water supply. Right. So you go to the Murray-Darling Basin people and say, I'm paying you $100,000 a year to maintain this infrastructure here, which is the what do you call it, the wall or whatever it is?
This is a regulator, yeah.
A regulator, so you're paying all that money
Yep.
to maintain a regulator. But if you take one drop of that water, even though you've got an allocation, we'll arrest you.
Yep, exactly.
How does that make any sense?
Well, it doesn't make any sense, and that's what's caused a lot of anguish among growers. You know, just to see, they know the dam's 50% full. They're tormented by this water flowing past their farms. Their crops are dying right beside it. You know, cattle are dying. They wouldn't even give them water for stock.
What do I understand about people being able to buy water, which seems to be more valuable than gold, and buy and sell water, and in a lot of cases manipulate the market?
Well, that's just one of the many stupidities of the Murray-Darling Basin plan. You see, when my grandfather was here with the Clydesdale dragging this dirt out, which they did with horse and bucket to make these canals, every farmer along here had to do his bit to build it. And every farmer that had land here, the water was attached to the title of the land. Now they changed that so that water could be traded, which in essence was fine, because if one particular farmer wants to grow some summer crop and he needs some more water, and another guy is having summer off, or not growing summer crop, and he has a surplus of water they can sell to his neighbour, fine. They went too far, the politicians, by creating an environment where external investors could come in and buy water.
So overseas people?
Mostly overseas people, because they're smarter than people in Australia. I worked for an international commodity trading company, and they have people sitting in rooms analysing markets. And they're doing their job. It's not their fault. They see an opportunity. These people created the opportunity where they can come in and buy water, not owning any land, not owning any farm, not producing a damn thing, but they have plenty of money. So they step into a market. They know that they only have to buy 20% of the volume, $50, $60 million, buy it. They're allowed to carry it over, hold it off the market. Everyone's desperate for water. Price goes up 250%. They sell it. They walk away. They've made a fortune. That's what they do. They're commodity traders. At the stroke of a pen, these dickheads in Canberra can actually make it legal to trade water only if you own land. All these guys divest their position and go and play with copper or gold or something else.
So let me get this straight again, so I understand it all. So, from a Canberra standpoint, they could make it so, A, international traders that don't have land here can't trade with water.
Exactly.
And to trade in water, you have to have Australian land property.
Yes.
could I also counter-argue and say, isn't there a lot of agricultural land that is owned internationally?
Yeah, but if a guy, we can't stop a commercial operation if someone comes into town and builds the almond farms downstream, and they want to buy water, fine. As long as they're not using this corporate distortion and getting some sweetheart deals, which is exactly why we're wanting a Royal Commission. If a bloke owns land, whether he's growing avocados or nuts or grain, I don't care. If he owns water to irrigate his farm, he's no different to me. There have been so many. The biggest argument I get against that is a lot of older blokes that, have sold their farms. Poor young bloke that buys his farm can't afford the water. It's just dearer than the land. So the old bloke keeps the water and he's selling it off temporary every year.
To the young bloke?
To the young bloke when the young bloke can afford it. If the young bloke can't, which he can't now, then he's going to sell it to the almond farmer downstream.
And they're lowballing you, I assume?
Well, no, they paid a fortune.
Oh, really?
The AITHA report, that AITHA report stipulates that they will need all of the water in the southern system, which is your river and our river, all of it, by 2023 to irrigate the almonds that are planted down there at the moment. And they can pay up to $800 a megalitre and still make a profit. Not many of your farmers in the Goulburn Valley can justify paying $800 for water to make money out of milk or some of those orchards.
Yeah, a lot of fruit orchards.
Some of them could, but gee, it's getting touch and go.
So how do you, so for the farmers that are going to be watching this in the Goulburn Valley, all of them, what do you say?
I say get your shit together, get a committee together, get united. And I'm happy to come down and tell you what's going on. So you've actually got the facts right to go to Drought and the National Party, make a stand and make some demands, because if we actually have to fight this on our own, we win this court case and stop them flooding the choke, the next river that they'll get the water from is your river.
Chris, this is not just a drought, it is the worst drought, it's beyond that. What's beyond that?
Well, it's a shocking drought. It hasn't rained yet.
When's the last rain you had here?
3 years.
3 years was the last
of any decent
rain.
We get little showers,
Yeah, but that's not enough.
It doesn't.
3 years since you had a decent pour where you could come outside and do a bit of a jig.
Yep. 2016.
Right. So, once again, just to confirm, I'm learning here too. All this water behind us, which you could hear, it's flowing rapidly. You could water ski in this. Is all going to South Australia?
It's going downstream, maybe to some of it's being to the almond farms. How would you know? There is no transparency.
Right.
There's no transparency with who owns the water. There's no transparency with who's moving the water. They try to tell us that this is not environmental flow and this is not chew. Do you think anyone that owns this water is stupid enough to send it out to sea? It's got to be a government department. 2 million megalitres. So far this calendar year has gone over the New South Wales, into the South Australian border. Beyond that, it's not measured. You wouldn't know whether it was evaporated in these lakes that they're trying to fill with fresh water, whether it runs out to sea or it's used by South Australians. And the volumes of water that they're taking from this area of just having too big an effect. Now, we were affected first, but Goulburn Valley is next. And not much use me yelling and screaming from the rooftops here on my own. Victorians need to know what's happening to their water and they need to get involved, get on board. And then you might have a chance, because people power is the only thing that is going to get these people attention.
Chris, I wish you all the best, mate, and I think what you're doing is bloody stellar, mate.
Thanks,
I really do. So just to show you again, folks, this is the water flowing very, very freely. Lots of it. 50 metres away. Dead. And you're not allowed to touch any of that water. Need I say any more? Again, I've seen so much here today, and I was asking Chris about, has he lost any mates?
Yeah, I've lost mates, good mates, and they're tough guys. They just can't handle this level of anguish and frustration. Is too much for them.
So these guys. Sorry, keep going.
Well, these guys are third, fourth generation farmers, and it's on their watch when they're going to lose the property, and that's a shame. They can't handle. They got kids that they want to be farmers. They got wives. They got no respect in the community as far as they feel, and it's easier to neck themselves than than to put up with this sort of pain.
So they're selling up their farms because they're desperate, and basically they feel the shame because it's been a farm in the family for generations, and so they can't handle it. And these are tough guys that are losing, and they're your mates.
They're actually that considerate. They don't shoot themselves or gas themselves. They drive a car or a truck into a tree or something. So the parents know that their wife and kids still get compensation.
So, because if it's a suicide, they don't get anything, do they?
No.
How does that affect you?
Oh, mate, that's devastating. I mean, these politicians, well, they can't work out what motivates me. I mean, I've got to deal with their wives. Their wives ring me in tears. You can't walk away from that.
No.
Aussies don't, anyway.